My birthday is in 125 days. In 125 days, on June 3rd, I will turn 50 years old. That is a scary proposition, especially considering I still feel like I'm 22. Um, I know for all of you late transitioners, and sometimes when I say late transitioners these days, that could be 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, whatever it is. I think a lot of us really struggle with the why didn't I transition when I was 20 or 15 or 10 or 5, like Jazz Jennings. But for a lot of us, that wasn't a reality. And there's nothing that we could have done about it in that moment in time. Our circumstances, where we lived, how our parents were, all of that stuff. But, there's, I have this joke running with our clients, and I'm like, no matter how hard I try, I can't turn into a 22-year-old 5'6" Harajuku supermodel. So it is one of those things that I'm going to just have to accept that I am not. I am 6'2". I am pretty muscular, I would say. Maybe I have to aspire to a different aesthetic, one that actually works for me. Um, and that is something I think a lot of us struggle with because you don't get to choose where the God-given gifts or the genetic gift that you get, I guess we can call it. I'm tall, so no matter what I do, unless I get chopped off at the knees, I'm not going to be 5'6" anytime soon. I also can't reverse an age 30 years, so a lot of us we struggle with that mourning and that loss, and that is a very very tough place to be. And also, I think a lot of us get to that place where we mourn a childhood lost, but it's not actually lost. We did have experiences, um, and you gotta take what you get from them. I know for some of us those were some pretty traumatizing and terrible experiences, and for us, some of the others, it wasn't terrible. Like my experiences weren't terrible as a child, but still, nonetheless, I still have to mourn the fact that I didn't get to experience, uh, a childhood as my authentic self, always, you know, with the mask on, pretending to fit into the boys' spaces, even though I knew for a fact that those weren't spaces that I was comfortable in. So, how do we mourn this yet still move forward, um, you know, as our authentic selves? And I think this is a really difficult one because you kind of have to do both. And there is a component of it which is acceptance. It is what it is, and there's nothing we can really do about it per se, other than forgive that experience and take the good that we can from it. But I think the main thing that I think I would like to talk about in this video in this bikini for some random reason I chose this one is that if you don't do this thing, if you don't kind of accept and move on, what you're really doing is you're taking away the present as well. And that is kind of really, really the lesson here is if you don't accept and you don't move forward, you actually lose out double. Not only did you lose out the past, but now you are losing out the present and the days consequently, from that point forward. If you spend all of your days mourning the loss, then you never actually get to live as your authentic self. And that probably is now you've really kind of hurt yourself in two ways. I'll speak to my experiences. I started transitioning at 43, and yeah, I missed out 43 years. And if you count the first 18 as garbage, that's still 25 years that I missed out on. Even if I, count as the first 18 years as negative 18, negative 17, negative 16, and so on and so forth, until you get to 18 when you start at zero, right? And even in that case, it's still 25 years that I lost. But in those 25 years, I gained other things. I had some wonderful friends. I got my education. To my kids, and I have all of this learned. You know, I've learned a lot in this time, and I think a lot of that I've taken with me into the present, of course. Um, Sometimes those traumas actually are the things that allow us to, have empathy for others, for example. So if you're in that place and you are mourning the loss of time that you didn't get, um, I feel for you. I do. Um, it is, there's nothing that anyone can do to really fix it, nothing that anyone can do to bring it back to you. Um, but don't spend all your days in those spaces, because look at you. You get to do it. You get to be the person that you spent your lifetime wanting to be. And that is more than a lot of us and a lot of people ever get to do. And I'm not talking just trans people. There are a lot of people out there that live on autopilot. They live so much on autopilot that they've never actually even asked themselves the question, who am I? What do I want in life? Where do I want to go? If you know who you are and you are introspective enough to ask those really tough questions, and you are brave enough to step out from that autopilot and actually make your own decisions and be your own person and choose the direction you want to go and start living that authentic life, you are ahead of 99% of the world. And for that, that is something that really, really, you should be commended for, because it is not easy to do that. So living in the present, this is the answer, really. It's the, you know, living in the now, and, paying yourself forward for all of that time lost. And if there's any answer that I would say from the mourning that I've had from not having those experiences, is that it makes me feel like every day is a day that is worth living to the absolute fullest. I don't let any time go by me where I am not thinking about what else I can do, what other experiences I can have. I'm going to fill up the rest of this life from 125 days plus and 50 onward with as many things as I possibly can and as many wonderful and beautiful experiences as myself. And then when I lie on my deathbed holding my partner's hand, I'm going to say that it was a life well lived.